Yo, what is up, Diamond family? It's your man Vivi, and welcome back to the VVS Academy. As you guys know, I'm here every week dropping off gems, teaching you to record, and makes your music better. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. Look, man, I've got a really crazy video for you guys today. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the rap vocal EQ secret that's going to elevate your tracks to industry quality instantly. That's right, man. I'm going to show you guys exactly what you need to do to EQ your vocals to make sure that they sound professional and industry quality every single time. Look, I won't even over talk it, but before we jump into it, if you are still struggling to get your vocals to sit inside the beat, balance themselves out perfectly every single time, you have to check out my free course down below. It's going to completely change the game for you and teach you my simple technique for balancing out the vocals and the beat perfectly every single time. It takes about 15 minutes. It's completely free, so check that out down below. All right, man, I'm not even going to over talk it anymore. Let's go ahead and dive right into the track. We'll play it back now.
When the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rap me like some YSL. Oh and no, and I feel like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell. Playing.
Cool. So as you can hear, everything sounds good. The vocals recorded well. It's a little bit too loud. But I think that's a frequency issue, and that's what we're going to dive into with the EQ side of things. So I'm going to go down here to my lead vocal bus, and I'm just going to add in an infinity EQ. Now, I didn't realize that this de-esser was already up here, so let me check and see if it's adding. No, it's not. So a lot of times this de-esser, it comes kind of set up to add some high frequency back after you de-ess, but we didn't do that in this case, so that's great. Let's go ahead and start to EQ this vocal. And I think it's something in the upper mid-range. That's what it sounds like to me. Most of the times the vocals are a little bit low and bass heavy, but not in this instance. And a lot of times when our vocals are low or bass heavy, instead of trying to cut out some of that lowness, the first thing we want to do is add high end, because we don't hear that there's too much bass. We hear that there's not enough high end, when really there is. It's just being covered up by the excessive amount of low end in the vocal. So I want to tell you guys, the number one tool or the number one tip for EQing vocals is cut first. Don't boost. If you need to boost the frequency, do it later. Make sure that you don't need to cut anything first, because when we start boosting a bunch of frequencies, really all we're doing is making the signal louder. And we rarely account for that when it comes to balance. We rarely account for all the extra volume we're adding to the vocal by constantly boosting certain frequencies. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is most of the time your vocal doesn't need anything added to it. It just needs things taken away. It's like a sculptor, right? If somebody is making a sculpture, they start with a big old slab of marble and they take away everything that they don't need. They don't start adding to it. They chip away everything that they don't need. And that's the same thing we're doing with our vocal. We're chipping away the frequencies that are distracting, that we don't really need, so that our vocal can be the masterpiece that it is. So let's open up this infinity EQ. Like I said, I think it's in that upper mid-range area. Let's see.
When the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rap me like some YSL. Oh and no, and I feel like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
And I know to some people that might sound like clarity or what you're looking for in your vocal, but that's going to make your vocal sound instantly unprofessional. You want the vocal to be even and smooth and controlled. And when you've got a lot of upper mid-range like that, it's a telltale way to determine like this vocal just doesn't sound that professional. So let's go ahead and cut some of this down. We'll get rid of some of this frequency and see if we can smooth out this vocal a little bit. Let's just go with 3 dB. We'll cut, and then we'll try to add 3 dB back on the way out.
When the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rap me like some YSL. Oh and no, and I feel like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
I'm only going to boost half of what I took away because we're only cutting a small section. But you can automatically notice what I was talking about before. As we cut this upper mid-range out, now the low frequency issues are starting to present themselves. Now we can hear more of that, because what was the most dominant thing was that upper mid-range is now controlled a little bit better. So in order to do this, let's go ahead and compress the signal first. And I know this isn't a video about compression, so I'm not really going to talk about any kind of compressor settings or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and load this up. But once we compress this vocal a little bit, we'll start to hear more accurately what frequencies need attention through EQ. So let me go ahead and dial in some compression.
When the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rap me like some YSL. Oh and no, and I feel like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell. Playing with the gang gon' get you fucking killed. Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
And I'm taking the extra time to make sure that I got the same volume going in that I have coming out, because I don't want to be tricked in thinking that the settings that I applied sound better just because it's louder. We want to actually make sure we're making a positive change and not just making the track louder. All right, so now that we've got this compressor dialed in, let's go back in for some more EQ. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and grab the API style EQ. And I know it's somewhere, like I said, 200 or 300. It actually shows up on the Infinity EQ. I wasn't really paying attention to where the frequency is, so I'm just going to guess right here. But I'm going to show you guys the easy way to tell, especially with an EQ like this. Just boost it as much as you can and then flip through the different presets until you hear where it's building up the frequency that you want to cut out. So watch this.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell. Playing with the gang gon' get you fucking killed.
So I think it's either the 2 or the 300. So let's start with the 200 and we'll just cut 2 and then we'll flip to the 3 and see which one gives us a better representation of what we want the vocal to sound like.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
All right, let's try the 300.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell.
Instantly, it's the 200. I'm not going to talk, though. I'll play them both back so you guys can hear the difference. But for me, it's the 200 all day.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell. Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
So for me, like I said, I think the 200 is the way to go. Let's see if we need to add any volume back. But we're going to follow this up with another compressor. So if we don't add volume at this stage, or if you're using an EQ that doesn't have volume, a gain, a way to adjust the gain on the way out, then just use another plugin. You can use a trimmer, or like I said, I'm going to follow this up with a compressor anyway, because I like to compress and EQ in stages rather than trying to do it all with one plugin. So let's go ahead and grab an LA2A compressor and dial in a little bit more compression.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell. Playing with the gang gon' get you fucking killed. Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch.
And already, man, with just a couple of plugins, this joint's starting to sound crazy. Let's bypass what we did and hear where we started at and then see where we ended up.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
Now let's bring everything back that we did.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell.
And as you'll notice, it's not a huge difference. Like, the change is subtle, and that's one thing I really want to stress. Your vocal, when you start to add effects, when you start to compress it and EQ it and things like that, your vocal shouldn't sound terrible. It shouldn't be in a place where the vocal sounds unusable and you got to tweak it and fix it just so that it sounds legible or just so that it fits into the track. Like, no. Those things should be handled beforehand. Either you need to re-record or you need to balance the track better. But once you've done those things, you can accurately hear what you need to do. You can actually hear the compression as it's applied. You can actually hear the EQ moves that you make, even the subtle moves, because your track is just balanced much, much better. So you want to make sure that you take care of those things first. Make sure that you record correctly. Make sure that you balance your track correctly so that when you go to apply effects, your vocal takes those effects really, really easily and really nicely, and you get the desired result that you're after. All right. So look, man, these are the tips that I'm giving you guys week in and week out. And if you need a little bit more help, drop me a line down below. My name is Vivi, and I'm here for you. Remember, stay humble, make diamonds only. Peace.
Twin the shit we did, I never fucking tell. Bad little bitch, she gon' rent me like some YSL. 0-0 in the field like Tony Snell. Play with me, I'ma send your ass to fucking hell. Playing with the gang, gon' get you fucking killed.